This is where we didn't start in the town crier. We started a little bit down the street, but we started in Beacon 16 years ago, and we moved up north, and now we're spreading out to Ellenville and back to Beacon. And this is our inaugural event here at the town crier. And what we're hoping to accomplish here tonight is we are going to, it's called Words, Music, Dialogue, and we want to do something different. It's going to be more like a salon type of thing. So once the three performers are done, we're going to take a quick break. We're going to open up a conversation amongst ourselves, and if there's anything that you want to ask, please feel free to ask it. That's the idea tonight. We're going to interact with you. It's not just going to be you listening to us. It's going to be us listening to your questions and then feeding back. So we're going to try a different thing. Our performers here tonight, our performers here this evening are Beacon's Poet Laureate for 2017-2018, Towne Pena. Me. Representing the singer-songwriter end of thing, gentleman that I'm sure most of you know, or you have at least heard if you've never seen him, the man behind the Slambovian Circus of Dreams, Mr. Josiah Longo. So I'm thinking that without further ado, if it's okay with you, we'll get started, huh? So serrated words cutting through the arteries of the night like a guitar string, slashing fingers to the bone, have bled on such fine publications as Chronogram, Gutter Elegance, Hudson Valley Transmitter, The Red Fez, The Slipstream, The Underground Voices, and Zygote in My Coffee. Publications include a self-published chapbook, Opening Night in Gehenna, and a new volume of poetry and flash fiction, Blood and Beats and Rock and Roll. Gotta love that title. Available now on Amazon. You can also see a lot of what Tony does on his YouTube page, Towne Pena Poetry at YouTube. Like I said, Beacon's Poet Laureate, a good friend of ours, a good friend of Cap's, Mr. Towne Pena.
Thank you, Mike. Long time no see. Jim Heath, Glenn Warner, all the wonderful folks at Cap's. Thank you for having me. Start things off with a quick poem called Acoustics in a Tin Cup. I used to dream about wearing my hair to my tush, with a Martin dreadnought slung over my shoulder, busking in the subways beneath Rockefeller Center, catching enough coin to buy a round in the Blarney Stone, for all the other rogues with their tomorrows ruined in yesterday's rain. This is called Ghosts on a Bandstand. One cheeseburger, shoestring fry, and milkshake too many over the years have made painting black denim over chicken drumsticks impossible. And the guardians of good taste have assured that tie-dyed rainbow t-shirts and even Boulder bell-bottoms stay safely buried in mothballs in a trunk, not to be opened until the 100th anniversary of Woodstock. But cool rays still rap easy around my heart, bopping the beats timeless and true, as kids make like Twister while trying to dance along with dusty 45s, as my memory skips over and over again on a stretch. Okay, this is something when Mike approached me about the music and the poetry combination. A lot of my stuff that I do is got a lot of music in it. You know, I lived through the 70s, I survived New York City in the 70s when New York City was New York City. And so it's a little different now as we get older on, and we see a lot of our heroes from yesterday pass away. So this was kind of written with that in mind and with the combination of the words and the music. This is called On the Days the Music Dies. As a kid, I used to love listening to rock blocks on the FM radio, getting to hear a handful of my favorite songs from bands in the creative process of drawing up a roadmap for my life in words and melody, even if the cartography was a pain in the ass to fold. I'd save some bucks from mowing lawns, a paper route, and lunch money to buy albums from Sam Goody, running home to tear the shrink wrap like gift wrapping at Christmas, and placing the diamond needle on the vinyl, spinning on a carousel of dreams. Even though my first record player sucked, it looked like a slightly newer version of the RCA Victrola, with Nipper the Pooch listening to a conch shell of a gramophone, with waves and seagulls and other sounds of the sea garbling tinny speakers. My old man would barge in when my music got too loud, scoffing at my taste and my modest stack of rock and roll records. You see, he was big on classical music, worshiping Beethoven and Tchaikovsky, and I thought to myself, them geezers long rolled over into the belly of buzzards and bargain bins. Yeah, I used to love listening to roadblocks on the FM radio. But nowadays, when I hear more than one song from my favorite artist, my knee bones start morphing into jelly, as one by one, the heroes of my youth, they get long in the tooth and expire, leaving me with bated breath, bracing to hear the sordid details about another icon's death. So one night, I'm at ShopRite on Route 9. You all know it well, I'm sure. Picking up a rotisserie chicken. And the background music they have there, it's playing "You Are So Beautiful," that Joe Cocker tune that was going to be my wedding song, until my fiancé ran off with her young dashing tailor, who sought to sow some seeds of his own while wrapping more than tape measure around her waist. A little help from my friends follows, and I say to myself, oh my God, Joe Cocker has passed away, and grief unchained my heart, and I'm not feeling so good myself. Get it? Because I love Joe, regardless of the wedding song fiasco. I even got pissed at John Belushi for impersonating my wild Englishman on Saturday Night Live. So I'm standing in a state of shock, and the poultry burns my fingers, and I flip the bird, and a dozen F-bombs. This chicken juice spills all over the linoleum, and I take a step and I fall on my ass, and people are giving me the stink eye as I glide along on all fours chasing the headless chicken, howling like a mad dog. Why didn't anybody tell me? Damn it to hell, Joe Cocker died. And some kid with a Nirvana t-shirt tugged on this old guy's sleeve and said, damn, Dad, didn't Joe Cocker die like 10 years ago? And the dad's wearing a Ramones t-shirt, kind of like this. And he tapped on his hearing aid. And he said, oh yeah, Joe Strummer's been dead a while. Now I felt a little bit like that Japanese soldier fighting in the Philippines for decades after World War II ended, thinking the war was still going on. And I started thinking to myself how uncool I always thought my old man could be, and just how my coolness couldn't hold a candle to his, as he found the strength to stay composed, listening to the music of the dead. Thank you. This is my first self-published piece of work. This is a chapbook called Opening Night in Johanna. It's only on sale for $5, which is a bargain. That's it, $5. But I want to point out the picture. I can't draw to save my life, and so I tried to draw, a picture of a couple of ladies of the night in cars in an old broken down movie theater, and it kind of looked like the girls of the night looked like Smurfs, You know, it just couldn't do it justice. So my son, he was about 18 at the time, he knew this gal who was an artist. Her name is Julia Bliss, and she drew the picture. This is worth $4.50 alone. So for 50 cents, you're getting like 20 poems. It's a bargain. This is called Broken Mold. 5:45 Friday morning. Like any other Friday morning, the last 22 years, rinsing the sand from my eyes, the ache from my bones before pulling my tingling left arm through the blue sleeve of the maintenance uniform. I wedged my swollen feet into the steel-toed work boots as I kissed my princess of a wife, Angeline, softly on the cheek so as not to wake her. I never got used to the quiet since the twins went off to state college, even missing the morning brawls for the bathroom. I grab an apple for the road as I head out for the foundry, and I pull into the gravel lot, and I see that the boss got a new midnight blue caddy. It might put him in a good mood for a change. Hell, it's been a whole year since his last car. But there's a note on my time card to see Freddie the foreman right away. And I'll be pissed if he's still looking for a rat to give up Skelly and Cooch on their flim-flam workers' comp deal. But today, the man in the cage got something special for me. It seems that the boss made a deal with some devil overseas, and there ain't enough work to go around. 2 weeks pay, and a no hard feelings pat on my bum shoulder, and that's that. Freddie, I say, in these times you'll be out of work forever. It's a death sentence. He shrugs his shoulders and says, he'll hook me up with a turkey come Christmas. And his mouth is moving, but my mind's trying to make its way through the mess, and my hopes and dreams are now expendable, as the top heavies have finally fallen through the bottom line. And in one fell swoop, they've taken off the table all I have to put food on mine. How many more bones do you need to grind? How many more pints of blood do you need to swig to set yourself up for life again and again and again and again? You can't take it with you, friend. So I get up on the catwalk, over the vats of the molten steel, and usually the shake, rattle, and roll of the family of heavy equipment is too loud to hear yourself think. But right now, my thoughts are loud and clear. The weight of debt buckles my knees. Letting down my loved one pierces my heart. But for the first time, courtesy of company insurance, I'm worth more dead than alive. Now, Angeline's a beauty. No man can resist her. And the twins, they'll watch out for each other. But I wish to God I could have said goodbye. But it's all got to happen now, while I'm still on the books. I have to jump into the fire and burn the company's money for a change. Thank you very much. Okay. This is called Ghosts. This is also a newer one. Bridges and tunnels, not such a foreign experience to most. So it's curious when the town folks foster not community, but fear, as strangers similar in sentiment take those same roads home. Sharp as attack and working mind and body to the bone for pennies on the dollar, so his family can eat 3 squares for at least another day. But Jesus' fingers, usually so steady, plying the wood, despite carrying calluses and scabs and splinters, now not able to keep the level straight, as it keeps hearing footsteps and whispers. And when the dawn unfurls the last edge of the night, Jesus is gone. Maria, selling fresh beefsteak tomatoes at the market by day and making the open mic by night, where the words etched from her quill thread together like the stems and petals of lilies into a quilt of language, plush with passion, and a dozen poetry lovers in the house clap their hands. But walking on clouds to her car, she's pelted by rotten fruits thrown by rednecks until Maria is gone. What looks like some sadistic statistic algorithm reads like prose to Kareem, whose fingers dance upon the keyboard like a virtuoso pianist doing a Beethoven boogie-woogie with lines and lines of computer coding to keep the bad guys at bay, till the bits and bytes are misread with hysteria over a too smart, dark-skinned man who knows now only that Kareem is gone. Kiana's kitchen was once just a Susie Bake oven, churning out chocolate chip hockey pucks. But shadowing her mother's every move led to a love of cooking and a culinary career with a restaurant in a quiet little town where people wave and smile until out of sight, when a match lights kerosene and the eatery smolders until Kiana is gone. A shame that the land where it costs nothing to dream cannot be shared by those working to fulfill hopes in tandem with the spirit of our ancestors. Thank you very much. This one got published in Hudson Valley Transmitter, which Mark does a terrific job with that publication and website. He's a Hudson Valley guy right here in Beacon. If you get a chance, you see it on the newsstand. It's a free paper, a lot of good stuff in there. This is called Permanent Ink. Used to be a time I could go to the neighborhood watering hole and spill my guts to the barkeep, who always wielded his trusty old cotton rag at the mahogany counter to wipe away a writer's winsome sins of the day with an earful of patience and a mouthful of sound advice, till 3 suits slid in, with a Godfather offer you can't refuse, and the business got sold, leaving a dozen deep at the bar with bearded hipsters, Japanese tourists, and barely legal bareflies arguing the subtle nuances of the 1,001 crafted brews on tap, but not a drop of Guinness in the house. So I leave the joint in a huff for a tattoo parlor down the street, where I pick a design of an inkwell with a skull with a quill for a tongue to be cut into my half-century yet virgin skin to do up my inner diva. With apologies to Barbara Streisand, to always remind this old man of the way we were. Thank you. This is called Playing House. When cutting school, Dahlia and Benji would meet up and crash at the zombie house, a barely standing bungalow held together by cobwebs, peeling plaster, and ghosts of Natalie Wood and James Dean. Roasting marshmallows on a tiny hibachi grill ripped off from Haggerty Hardware, sipping warm Schaefer's and chugging cherry cough syrup. Plots for world domination by Jerry's kids were hatched by noon and forgotten in stupors till the frenzied sober up an hour before supper, when Dahlia took to shaking her watermelon butt in baggy chocolate corduroys. She stripped down to her bra as the J. Giles Band cassette Bloodshot blasted on a rusty bottom boombox, and Benji whooping wildly and pumping his fist in the air, praying to the gods of rock and roll that one day the perfect storm between his heart and his head would spawn a bolt of lightning to surge down his spine, infusing the nerves and bones of his Frankenstein legs with enough kilowatts to melt the wheelchair into scrap metal, and dance naked with Dahlia before sharing orgasms with the only girl worth roaming the rooms of his dreams. 3 more. This is my book. It's called Blood and Beats and Rock and Roll. A friend of mine, Hayden Wayne, some of you might know him, published it for me. Like 131 poems and 5 flash fiction pieces. So maybe I got a little carried away, but you know what? That's what we do. This is called Sandcastle. I see the sails of dreams across the water. Flags of privilege raised high, and the gulls are scrambling over the jetty, fish and clam bits in their beaks. I see a salt-eaten private road street sign, the dirt and gravel path riddled with ruts, a mailbox overrun by beach roses, utility bills, and LL Bean propping the door. I see a peach flannel nightgown, stiff on the line, a ring of bleach about the belly, shards of a Wedgwood pitcher in a dustbin, brown geraniums in the wastebasket. I see a bundle of letters charred in the fireplace, a crucifix laying atop a cord of wood, an empty bottle of Southern Comfort on the back porch, cordovan stains on the gray floorboards. I see footprints leading to the ocean, first 2 pair, then 1, then none. A mermaid's purse and a pile of broken shells, seaweed, and a cracked frame holding nothing but sand. I see carcasses of seafarers on the red tide, off to peace within the sea, with shadows of damned fools cast over Paris Cove as fog, thick with bygones, rolls in. Thank you so much. 2 more for you. This is called Carousel. Cradled in a dark, warm vest pocket of amusement park memories that dance round and round to pipe organ chords, with dirty fingers stretching bones out of sockets each year, closer and closer to grabbing the brass ring, but knowing at midnight you'll be too old to ride wooden ponies, with cotton candy chimeras the closest you get to winning the prize. Yet you'll always remember, with the proudest of smiles, those nights of song and horse-driven dreams, for it was the first, but surely not the last time you reined in and rode the wind. Thank you so much. I'm going to leave you with this one. People talk about poetry, and they always assume that it's slam poetry. And they go, "You're a poet? Oh, you do the slam thing." So I do the slam. I don't do the slam thing really, but some of the stuff is edgy. Hey, yeah, it's slam poetry. Yeah, I know all about it. And I was like, it's not the same thing. So this is a bit about that. This is called slam. Kind of like why I don't do slam poetry. I'm the dum-dum-dum when it comes to iambic pentameter, and I haven't found a rhyme for the elusive orange, although I have a slew of knock-knock jokes to make a 3rd grader groan. But words and heart buck like wild horses, so I crack my knuckles to get my fingers ready for some serious snapping, headed down to Greenwich Village, where I bought a raspberry beret from a secondhand store, but it was several sizes too small, and I ended up looking quite orthodox, sporting a velvet yarmulke. Not quite the look I was looking for. But undeterred, I stopped by the White Horse Tavern to get some courage and some inspiration from the ghost of Dylan Thomas, who took me for 5 rounds of Boilermakers and a rousing chorus of "Whack for my daddy, oh, there's whiskey in the jar." So on rickety legs, I followed an Allen Ginsberg howling in the Manhattan twilight to a dimly lit club across town, somewhere down in Alphabet City. And the sign on the door said, "Slam." I shrugged, I said, and I practically tore this shit off its hinges. And then a tsunami of shushes flooded out from an inner sanctum of sorts. And there's a fellow, a cross between Herman Munster and Andre the Giant. And he held stage center, belly aching about something. And I looked around, and I saw he was belly aching about me. So I remember, I got some cool. I remember Eminem in that movie 8 Mile. So I cooked up some satanic verse, and I lunged for the dude. But they had crossed pitchforks blocking my path. And his hand did the throat-cutting sign, and a pair of goons threw me out like a cowboy slung out of the saloon in an old western. Whereupon the bouncer stood over me in the gutter, shaking his head. He said, "Peon, please. Poetry has always been a contact sport." Thank you, Mike Jurkovic, Jimmy, Cops. You all for coming out. Thank you very much.
Okay, now it's my part, my turn, and I'm not going to read you any bios because I think I've been around this area long enough for people to get bored by my bios. So this is called Cutting Labels. The rebels step forward, cutting labels off patio pillows. You think you'd hear a greater cry of outrage, a surge, but no. Instead, we discuss the latest SNL. The newest stream, the slaveholders app, and how to hold on to what's already lost. Air and water, fire and sky. They want it all, and they'll get it all as we discuss the latest SNL, the newest stream, and how to reclaim what's already lost. I've been to several readings lately where I've been like the feature or the co-feature, whatever the case may be, and everybody's talking about age in one shape, form, or another. It's almost like everybody's getting old or some shit. And the next couple are going to be my addition to that, and this is called Shamed Angels. And this is because we were in a doctor's office. And you know how they have Medco and Webco and this magazine and that magazine and Doctor's Delight and all this kind of stuff. So this is called Shamed Angels. I just never thought I'd ever read a magazine with Linda Ronstadt on the cover and hemorrhoid relief the co-headline. The header, the footer, each one proclaiming in 26 font the need for a pill or a pet. Eye and ear and nose repair, barnacle extraction, and less caustic reminders that our hour nears. She was incredibly beautiful, with eyes like those big wet moons and a voice that shamed the angels. Now it's Lasix and remedy, stroke and contrition, each our own ache and pain and burden, dog-earing pages lest we forget. When I asked Josiah to join us here tonight, he would go, "But Mikey, I'm going to be the only guy who's rhyming everything." And I said, no, I'll cut the ice for you. I'll bring up one of my rhyming ones. This is from a lyric I wrote with several good friends almost 30 years ago. I think it was 1988. Those two friends are deceased now, but it's called Gravity Gets Us All. I am not going to sing it, I promise you that. But I'm going to read it. And it's called Gravity Gets Us All. Turning back the mileage is no easy task. Once the lines and crow's feet impede upon the mask, the doctors cut and the doctors stitch, and they make museum pieces. No matter how much you iron, babe, they're bound to see the creases. Gravity gets us all, baby. Gravity gets us all. Tummy in, shoulders back, these baggy shirts to hide the slack. The couch, zucchini, garden bones, a tad of rheumatism in my bones, a facelift, a breast transplant, all to help this bad romance and bags and sagging cellulite. Skin now hangs that once was tight. Repeat after me. Gravity gets us all. Baby, gravity gets us all. So we pay for Botox days, 2 shots of minoxidil. Yes, we must live on and on. Just let the clock stand still. The doctors cut and the doctors stitch, and they make museum pieces. No matter how much you iron, babe, they're bound to see the creases. Gravity gets us all. Baby, gravity gets us all. Yeah. So we do have a little bit of a merchandise table there, and an information table there. If you want to get information on CAPS, we got an email sign-up list and our other events that are going on. This is based on a true story. It happened in California, and it's called Screaming Jay Hawkins and Me in Our Prime. And if you're not familiar with Screaming Jay Hawkins, he was one of the first shock rockers back in the 50s. He did I Put a Spell on You, and they would carry him out in a flaming coffin, and then he'd come out with voodoo dolls and all kinds of stuff. So I'm lost in a parking lot on the left coast with an Afghan kush and a Grey Goose buzz when Screaming Jay Hawkins jumps to see Harris screaming, "What can I do with 86 kids and each mama wanting my jam? Get in, mofo!" I sounded, kicking the gas like a mule hurt bucks gravity. Hurtling down Coastal Route 1 with an off-subpoenaed legend in my car does not faze me. Heck no. I expect these things from time to time. My brain unhinged, the whole world going batshit. Screaming Jay riffing in the passenger seat is no more nuts to me than dumping poisons in the ocean to my left. Its vast sky full with the moans of our daughter's womb engines, pumping out pilots and privates and warlords that no one believes can win anymore. Just a little anecdote to that story. The reason he says there's 86 kids was because back in the early 2000s, there was an actual page where you can send in your DNA, because it's reported that he had 86 children from God knows how many women. I can't even begin to imagine. And you were able to send in your DNA to see if you were actually related to this family. And this is called Blank Page. It's been a while since I started with a blank page. So often there's BS from poems past awaiting mitigation. Crooked thumbs, a Protestant mist. What words I collect to say nothing you haven't heard or already know and have accepted as the bone of the human condition and moved merrily on. Knee deep in our cultural moss, soldiers blow up, rebuild. Blow up, rebuild. Blow up, rebuild. Blow up, rebuild. And still the rat nest reigns. Which must be what Einstein meant by insanity being the business of repetition. There goes the pursuit of happiness, you might say, but I'd say the show is just beginning, because I wake up each day wired and ready to torch a senator's home, make his wife as unsafe as mine, and see if he changes his mind. Her mind. They are all sick, no matter what gender they live or deny. Speaking of imperial decay, did you know that nearly 94% of the American flags in this country come from China? No shit. I kid you not. I may be off a percentage or two, but that's my margin of error. So take her to leave it, I'm lenient that way. I didn't mean to bust your chops, but that's how this one turned out. I lost its theme, stands is back, and sometimes you got a free fall before the smoke clears and the Potemkin village falls to ruin. I don't know, those dark ones are just so... So let's see if we can find a happy one or something, at least a little less, oh my God, I'm gonna die. All right, here, this is from Smitten by Harpies. And this is another true story, and it's called Yearbook. Frost's granddaughter convinced me of my brilliance as she held me between her legs like I was the last poet on Main Street Beacon. We were young, so sex closed the deal. Rock that girl and you were the next big thing in the land of letters. Bite her neck and she read your words with worship. Hell, I could do that. It was sophomore year after all, and I did have plenty of testosterone then. Discovering tongue along cleavage, lips upon belly, tracing the sweat down her spine. I had a way with alliteration that was wholly American, she said. My hands on her feverish ass as I foraged for her fulcrum, breathing warm along her panty line, the color that of open sky. This one was just published in some magazine. I honestly just don't remember. And it's called Cheering the Ponies with God. With my face against the cloud and my ass against the burner, I'm cheering the ponies with God. Hold my calls, I say. God nods and collects in the third. Always stick with the filly, he says, and of course God's right. What other choice is there for a guy still carrying his chapbooks with him, hoping for a sale? But I know better, and I let him talk. I love this ramshackle town, he says, with a genuine smile on his face, a small rain without end in his eyes. You guys are driving me crazy, he tells the beer man. And you, he says, you know better. Bogarting the chips and salsa and the peanuts. But I hadn't noticed. So I moved on to the next topic. What about Monet's Light? I asked, hoping he'd pick me a winner before the last race. It colors heaven, he says, like some stock answer he pulled from his hat, but he never had. Just a carefree cloud that I guess he plucked from one of Saturn's tears. Sounds pretty, I say, trying not to sound too eager or envious. Trying to hold the divine tighter than I had just a few minutes before when I didn't redress, rejoin, or redeem. It is, he says, and Garcia stitches sunlight solos while Ella sings the blues. We're in the backstretch, God and I, coming to the understanding that we both tried our best. Hey, you know, you were human once, I say in self-defense. I know, he says, slipping me the winning ticket. I got 2 or 3 more because I got really scatterbrained being up here today. This is called Topeka. I never did get back to Topeka. What was the point? There was BS in every direction. Just like here in Beacon, Up and down, forward, back, horizon to horizon, moon to moon, and grandma's down 8 fingers and falling in her chili and chips, and Pop swears as quick draw, and little Lena gets off the bus and walks into the dim-lit, gimlet gin house that only the brave defy. Which is why I'm here, hiding behind happy hour, my religion lost and my faith failing fast. Each dark minute hauling itself forward, towards the water, towards the morsel, towards the dead legends I call my own and number myself among. We jump off in droves, the chasm yawning, the darkness rushing by, the mothballed freighters falling twice as fast. Just grow soldiers, they say, reminding me a lot of what I heard back in Topeka, where prairie winds blow rust and the water mains burst, just like that. Just like everywhere else neglected by its people, dismissed as a political problem, when in fact, it's a cultural one, a question of folklore and the lack thereof. No present, no past, no holds barred when it comes to demise and the dollars it makes. Squalor, contempt, a breed I've indebted myself to, just like Topeka. I'm going to do 2 more. We recently started a second open mic invitational event on every second Friday in Ellenville, at Empowering Ellenville. And as bad as this title sounds, it's really not as bad as it is. But it's called, I was coming home from Ellenville one night, and it's called Escape from Ellenville. A child of the highway and wine, still doing what I did so many decades ago. Jazz and the sad memento follow me through town and hamlet, city and scape. Monk's mood and train blown by the riverside, finding the notes, coursing the curves, the sun in the east and west, rising, falling like love itself, bridges, streams, the 4-way stop. She tailgates with lipstick. Monk approves, train bops free, rising, falling like love itself, always in the foreground, background, always on the downbeat, 16, whole rest, left signal right, like love itself, particularly pesky. Of wayward origin and design, stick figure shadows dance in mass, post road turnpikes, 32 bars, and out. I'm just going to close with this short one, and it's called Gathered Here. Here's hoping that as they lay me down, you gathered here will not turn on me or bewilder the bride with your delusion. We're gathered here because we danced without penance, fused in a chord no army could decode, called upon wise men for mercy, called upon women for love. Thank you. Next performer for the evening needs no introduction, but I'm going to say his name anyway. Josiah Longo, thanks for coming, buddy.
Testing 1, 2, 3. I would only do this for Mikey. As you can imagine, this is more, I usually play in the band more days a week than I'm home, so but I've never done poetry before. I read my stuff without music. So this, Michael asked me, so I'm going to brave it. Let me jump in with, I'll jump in with one that I don't quite know what it means. I read this a while ago. shades of blue, scent of rose, painted lies, scabbled nose, sharpened eyes cut like ice right through the heart. Philosophical facades that disprove their own false gods. Humanistic righteous views succeed to hide what's true. Fashioned causes to distract keep us off the monkey's back, while the monkey's mob attacks where they please with ease. Yeah, they found ways to sell life down here in hell, candy-coated causes made to kill our appetites. They found ways to sell life down here in hell. They do anything to keep their ledgers from the light. More and more and more and more, less and less gets through the door. Bloated body world ignores the starving spirit's cry. We survey the beast to see what it is we think we need. From behind his prison window eyes, the answer stands and waits. Spike and groom his sad blue hair, paint his face a cold hard stare, march him round to show you care to save this hell. Yeah, they found ways to sell life down here in hell, candy-coated causes made to kill our appetite. They found ways to sell life down here in hell. They do anything to keep their ledgers audit-tight. Tink picked some songs. Tink's my wife over there.
I'm here.
Oh, here she is right here. Oh, hi, Tink. I better put on my second pair of glasses. One pair is fashionable. The other pair lets me actually see these days. I need two pairs of 150s to be able to see. Let's see. Was that okay, Tink? Was that understandable?
Yeah, you got better as it went on.
Did it?
You're not, this
Nervousness makes you talk fast. Josiah normally talks very slow, right? And he's talking very fast. That's what you said.
You're getting, you got like co-ed.
Good. Let's see. What else do we have here? Can I play you something? So I'll play you something and it'll warm me up a little bit. This is fun. When I say I'm nervous, I don't mean that's a bad thing. For me, being nervous is a really unique experience. So I'm having a good time doing it. I'm very comfortable with the band usually. So. When I was just a kid in South Philadelphia, where I grew up, some people heard that I started a 72-member gang in my neighborhood. I did, actually. And so they decided to send me to art school that summer to prevent problems in the neighborhood. And they gave me a scholarship to the Parthenon in Philadelphia, the Philadelphia Art Museum. And I studied sculpting and painting in the old aquarium behind the art museum. And I discovered the surrealists in the Philadelphia Art Museum. I'd never been exposed to the surrealists. Saw my first Dali paintings. And just recently I wrote a song for Dali called Solve It All Daily. Now this is the wrong key, wrong guitar, but we'll try. Well, who stretched the elephant's legs? I bet it was you. Solve it all daily. Taught them to walk through the streets. It's like elephant's legs right here. That was pretty good, right? I was on a roll. There we go. So you're gonna stay. You're with me, right? I'll do that verse again. Who stretched the elephant's legs? I bet it was you. Solve it all daily. Taught them to walk through the streets on stilted grey limbs like Barnum and Bailey. Yeah, you pulled that trick with the tigers too. Now no one can keep them in the zoo. Why do you do what you do when you do what you do? You're going off and on, huh? Solve it all daily. Well, who turned Narcissus to stone, fishes to phones that always call me? Who melted all the town clocks and hung them on rocks, limbs by the blue sea? Sorry, yeah.
Try this one.
Try this.
No, stop.
Nah, that's okay. She could do it. That's quite all right. Yeah.
Like this, no, this came undone.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, it did?
Yeah.
Popped out, huh? 1, 2. We could just use one. It's good enough. It's good enough. Hey.
No, it's off because I had to unplug it, so I don't want
Ah,
to unplug
okay.
it. I don't want to undo that when
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
through because then it makes all kinds of noises
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
very unhappy.
Yeah, I think it's all. It's good enough. So where were we? Let's see.
Tiger.
Oh, we did that. Okay, let's do that. Thank you. Thank you. You can become my new manager. Thank you very much. You pulled that trick with the tigers too. Now no one can keep them in the zoo. Why do you do what you do when you do what you do? Solve it all daily. Well, maybe behind that mustachioed mask, a black hole sucking everything in, making rules lose control, reconstructing dogmatic distractions that rule our reason. Back to molecular dances and music of speeds that our ears used to hear before fig leaves and fear made us deaf, dumb and blind to the pity that really matters. Sunday west to a living room, who elongated mom's favorite spoon. Why are your paintings so out of tune, or is that the wang job? Geopolitical child, out by the wild, globe on the prairie, watching the birth of new man in the new land. Oh, it's pretty scary. He's in a world trapped by its points of view. And you always said true may not be true. Yeah, we read it all in the Dolly News, monarch of daily. Solve it all. Solve it all. What great adventure will future hold? Once we have all learned to break the mold. Teach us your passionate, whiskery, whimsical ways to solve it all daily. Solve it
all day. Solve it all. I've been writing kind of pseudo-scientific songs lately, so maybe I'll read you one of those. I wrote a song called Force of Nature. It talks about Stephen Hawking a bit and all the theories that Hawking and his cohorts are always betting on, you know, whether black holes exist, and then once Stephen believes black holes exist, can light emit from a black hole? Can energy escape from a black hole? They're always doing that. They put $50 bets on things and see who wins, you know. So I wrote this poem that goes like this. So I won't play it, I'll try to read it. So you don't mind me testing out to see if these read. I've never read them to anybody. It's always with a lot of music around. So you guys are very warm and kind to a nervous rock musician. And I put a tie on and everything, thinking that's how poets dress. And the first poet comes up with a Ramones shirt and skull and crossbone thing tied to his head. So I'm trying to fit in, you know, I try to fit in with the poets. This goes like little Stephen Hawking, he's always on a roll. He's always in a brainstorm. His mind full of black holes. They're sucking in his body, but I'm betting on his soul coming back through. Yeah, he's a force of nature, but not forcier than you. Well, maybe just in scale, love, but in density, not true. Yeah, you can singularly turn the whole world blue. Baby, it's true. You walk among us with your rainy lightning. You walk among us and dark clouds swirl around you. You walk among us, you're a little frightening, and then you smile and clouds are gone. Yeah, you're a force of nature. We are hooked on you. We study all your dances and everything you do. We try to be objective, but the love keeps breaking through. Baby, it's true. You're all around us, raging storms of beauty. Magnetic forces swirl the tides that bind us. We long to know you, our objective duty, but you're the drug that we are on. Have mercy on us, calm these waves around us. Have mercy on us, walk upon these waters. Your truths astound us, spark our dreams and wonder, and reason dies when you are gone. Little Stephen Hawking, he's always on a roll. He's always in a brainstorm, mind full of black holes. They're sucking in his body, but his radiating soul keeps coming back through. Well, since the pseudoscience thing worked and the mic didn't cut out, I must be, I'll try another kind of a cosmic type of song. I wrote this right after they demoted Pluto from planetary status. We've all had our hand at that one, I think, you know. We were so crushed by it. This goes, could I play it?
Yeah.
Do you mind? Tink's asking if I play it. Do you mind that? Does it mess up your poetry?
It's close enough. It's fine.
Okay. Tune that up. Thank you for letting me share this fear with you. Like I said, I was almost like blindly fearful to come up here tonight. That was really a cool thing. It was like getting on a roller coaster or something, you know. Jupiter, Jupiter and Mars, Mercury and Earth agree. It's not what it used to be. Venus told Neptune and the stars she's been crying every night since she learned poor Pluto's plight. She said, we've all been friends forever. We'll never change the way we feel. So strange to hear the clever tell Pluto that he wasn't real. How'd that feel? He may be a little stupider, but surely you can see he always tried his best to be dignified and heavenly. He's just a simple planet. Maybe he wasn't quite as deep. Don't take our hearts for granted. Don't let them put our dog to sleep. Little creeps. Hey, Saturn told all his little moons, say a little prayer tonight. They don't turn out Pluto's light. Hey! Sorry, zombies. Well, what would it lose or gain us? Science is filled with fact and flaw. But your heads are up Uranus when love's not greater than the law. Fatal flaw, yeah. Venetia, the British girl who named Pluto, wished upon a star. Someone would still want to play and not just chase her dog away. Hey! Jupiter and Mars, Mercury and Earth agree. It's not what it used to be. So I should do a couple more, right, Mike? Let's see. What do we got? I did Force. Oh, I did Stephen Hawking. I did Pluto's play. Oh. But is the singing thing still working for you? It's not messing up your poetry? Let me try this out on you guys. I've never read this out loud, and I would like to see what it sounds like, and then I'll end with a singing thing. This is another suggestion by Tink. Tink manages my brain. We've been together for 35 years. Let's see how this goes. If it doesn't go, I'll start singing again. This is called Look Ma, No Hands. Look Ma, no hands, and I'm cruising down this hill Knievelly. Yeah, I've come so far since Dad was helping me. Look Ma, no hands. That's it. That's all there is to it. It's kind of skinny. Look Ma, no drugs. and I'm floating high and stoned as I can be. Yeah. What do you think? Hey, look, this could be the end of my whole career today.
Keep going, keep going. Sing it. So I remember the
No, I can't. Yeah, without the music. I tried, right? See, I listened to you. I jumped off the cliff or not.
It was a good intro. Sing it. Sing it.
Look, my no hands, and I'm cruising down this hill, can even leave. Yeah, I've come so far since Dad was helping me. Yeah, I'm afraid, I'm so afraid. Look, my no hands. Look, my no drugs, and I'm floating high and stoned as I can be. Only difference is I got no strings on me. Yeah, I'm afraid, so afraid. Look, my no hands. Well, it feels so easy. Why is it we made it so damn hard? Yes, it feels so easy. Well, how we get so low? You gotta learn to flow. Look, my no church, and I talk to God like He's right here with me. And these visions are much better than TV. Yeah, and I'm afraid, so afraid. Look, my no hands. Look, my no hands. Okay.
Can I do something just really quick?
Yeah, Tinky, what's that?
So, we played here a lot. You guys have seen this. But I just want to say, we are doing this show here in December. But for all of you guys who don't know who we are and haven't seen us, we're doing a show tomorrow night in South Salem. It's about 40 minutes from here. And I have these posters you can take. It's like our card that you can take one home with you.
We had big business cards.
So, and I also have free buttons to give away. So, but if you have any friends in South Salem or if you want to venture, it's a new venue in Westchester, Connecticut border with everywhere. And our friend Bob for some is going to help us. Just wanted to say. Are you going to do that?
Yeah, I could do that. I'm just, yeah.
This is Dar's favorite song.
And who is that? Helen Avaki? Yeah. Hope we're not messing her up. So I was going to try to just read these as poetry. I feel like I'm punking out a little bit, but it's, am I doing okay? You guys approve of me? Well, she wasn't one of the misscripted lovers that moved with the others. She didn't know why. They would make fun of the way she would druther, just float up and hover earth and sky. Well, I wasn't able to keep my mind stable. Condition was labeled acute ADD. Yeah, they saw the problem and tried hard to solve them, but she only noticed some goodness in me. So down Sullivan Lane, we walked in the rain like sister and brother. Down Sullivan Lane, we slipped from the pain right into the other world. When we first saw you, you were cruising the blue. You were simple as dew. You were floating away. You were like her and me, spaced out as you could be. And we know that frequency, come out and play. So down Sullivan Lane, we walked through the rain like sisters and brothers. Down Sullivan Lane, we slipped from the pain right into the other world. Well, they taught you how to cope, taught you to tow the rope, moved you away, far, far away. But when you think of me, tune in the frequency, come out and play, come out and play. 'Cause down Sullivan Lane, we're calling your name, your sisters and brothers. Down Sullivan Lane, please come back again, come back to the other world. Down Sullivan Lane, we're calling your name, your sisters and brothers. Down Sullivan Lane, please come back again, come back to the other world.
Do I have to do another one, Mikey? One more, good. What should that be, Sink? You want to call something?
I don't know.
I obviously didn't know I'd be singing because I didn't warm my voice up. It sounds like Froggy from the Little Rascals.
Something, well, you just did something happy, so maybe just do something really heavy.
Where the bees have gone.
What's that?
Where the bees have gone.
Oh, you want to do that? Want to do a little sing-along on poetry night? Okay. So, I just wrote this song recently. You know, when everybody was still wondering what happened to the bees, where they were all going, you know, we were all puzzled why they were vanishing so much. I was sitting in my yard and I said to Tink, I'm not gonna mow the lawn this summer. I'm gonna let the lawn grow up, and I let it grow out in my yard, and all of a sudden there were thousands of bees in my yard, and I thought, I know where the bees have gone. They've all come to my yard, and I wrote a song called I Know Where the Bees Have Gone. They've all come to my yard. So I'll play you that song, and I'll give you a little sing-along part, and we can end this part of the show with a sing-along. Then yeah.
Take the extra glasses off.
Is that distracting?
It kind of looks crazy.
Okay. I'll put them on like this. How's that better? So,
I'll do this. Are you game? Are you still following me? Is this working for you? Okay. Every time I go, I know where the bees have gone. If you guys can go, where all the birds and bees have gone. And I'll go, I know where the bees have gone. And you go, where all the birds and bees have gone. And then I'll go, I know where the bees have gone. And you go, where all the birds and bees have gone. Then I'll go, yeah, I know where the bees have gone. And you go, where all the birds and bees. You got it? Let's practice it. I know where the bees have gone. I know where the bees have gone. Okay, I'll do a verse. Well, I know where the bees have gone. They've all come to my yard. I stopped cutting the grass, you know. I stopped being so hard. Stop trying to control the world and learn to steer myself. Now the bees and butterflies became a source of wealth. They're making honey butter now, they ship across the sea. They're raking in a lot of dough and they share it all with me.
Longo. How about it? We're gonna take a 15-minute break. We're gonna pass around the Caps hat, or the basket anyway, and it says a $5 suggested donation. If you want to throw in $5,000, feel free. If you want to throw in $1, feel free. And then we're gonna come back and do our discussion, and hopefully you guys know what you're gonna ask us. So we'll be right back. Thank you.